Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first annual Fringies Awards. The Fringies are special awards given to the players and personalities associated with the LPGA each year in only a way that Fringe Coverage pod can deliver. While Fringe Coverage is a podcast about the story, swings, and stars of the LPGA, it's also much more than that. It's a podcast about friendship, about life, and about 90s and early 2000s hip-hop and R&B references. So, whether you're new to the pod or a longtime fan, hopefully today rekindles your love for the LPGA or just musical artists from nearly 3 decades ago. And without further ado, shouties and G's, welcome my co-host and my boo, Tom Bashar.
Mark, thank you so much for doing that. First try, by the way. Fans don't know that. That was impressive. We should takes you about 5 times for a normal intro.
Oh, screw you. We should tell the fans that Tom just wrote that and blind gave it to me to read. So I agreed that as long as he didn't completely embarrass me, I would read it. So to all you shouties and G's out there that like that reference, you can thank Tom. Tom, great intro. How excited. I know you're going to walk us through what we're doing today, but just as this is our last, I think, episode of the year. Mm-hmm. How excited are you for today's episode?
Yeah, I didn't get any work done today. All I could do was think about all the different topics and award names that we were going to be spitting out this week, and I was just very excited about it. You know, I don't even remember what it was, but a couple months ago, we mentioned how you and I kind of became friends with all this 90s hip-hop love for the music and for just all these artists that we'd still listen to in, 20 years ago. It seemed to be that you and I were the only ones who really cared about that. And you said, hey, we should do an entire episode where we just try to drop jokes to each other back and forth. And I said, yeah, that might be kind of tough. And then when we came up with the idea for the Fringies, which of course need to be happening, we said, right, why don't we also tie that in there and make a theme out of it?
That's right. I mean, this is, Tom's going to explain everything we're going to do today, but we knew we were going to do a year-end award show. And look, we're going to talk about all sorts of things, whether it's things you would expect us to give awards to and a hell of a lot that are probably off the wall. But we want to do a look back and look, we're going to have a lot of awards that are towards the second half because that's when Fringe Coverage really started zooming in on the LPGA and started talking. And we want you as the fans to be able to have some moments resonate with your own fandom and what you saw and heard us talk about. So, Tom, let's get into it, man. You're my co-host. You're my boo. Tell the fans what we're doing today.
Yeah, Mark and I individually of each other created a bunch of nonsense awards. I mean, we all know that Gino was the golfer of the year, and we have Rio was the rookie of the year. No, Miu was the rookie of the year. That stuff can be handled by the LPGA.
Yeah,
we're gonna fill in the
child's play
that was missing. Do you want me to get started, or you want to get started?
Well, talk a little bit about how you're planning to feather in the musical piece of this.
Sure. So, Mark, you came up with a great example. We said, why don't we think of some kind of 90s or early 2000s song and then create some award that we could incorporate in that? So the example that you and I give back and forth, since you and I were very secretive about what we were doing, was that you came up with the Heartbreaker Award, the Mariah Carey Memorial Heartbreaker Award. And it was, Grace Kim at the Evian or something like that, right? Or Gino blowing it with the 4-putt.
That's right. And arguably probably the song you and I sing together the most. I feel like we've been on enough road trips that when this song comes on, for those of you that know Heartbreaker with Mariah Carey and Jay-Z, Tom and I split those two roles. We're not going to tell you who sings what, but let's just say we nail it. And so I thought no other.
We can take either one. No problem.
Yeah. We are super multifaceted in our abilities to do bad covers of 1990s and early 2000s hip hop and R&B. So, I think that is a good jumping off point. And while it was our example, let's dive right in. I'm going to kick us off. I think I've got a few more than you. And again, some of the times I came up with moments I really wanted to talk about. Other times I really just wanted to incorporate a song title into an award. So I think you're going to notice the quality of the moments may differ.
I'm definitely
or
the
golfers
on that one.
I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Quality over quantity for me.
I do think that's the right place to start. And it is the Mariah Carey Heartbreaker moment of the year. And there were quite a few close finishes and moments, but that that heartbreaker moment, it's really more for Gino than it is for Grace, because Grace was the heartbreaker in this case. Grace, again, this has been well documented at this point. We won't rehash the whole thing, but Grace went on to go eagle, birdie, eagle in her final 3 holes to absolutely rip the Evian major championship title away from Gino in the final round. And that eagle birdie finish, the best part was the birdie, which was, again, she had blown the ball into the water and then had to chip across the green and somehow sunk it to keep herself in it and extend it to a playoff hole. Just truly magical stuff. And I think we've both said this. I cannot think of a tournament where I had a more visceral reaction. Like, that might be the best finish to a golf tournament I've ever seen. And I still feel that just as vividly today as I did the moment it happened. So congratulations to, I guess formally, Grace Kim, you are now you won the inaugural first ever Fringy Award for the Mariah Carey Heartbreaker Moments of the Year. So Tom, where are we going next?
Yeah, give us your mailing address. We'll send you your trophy.
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to follow that up with the Can I Get a Putt-Putt Award for the #1 putter on tour. Hyuju Kim. Hyuju finished with a mere 28.59 putts per round over 61 total rounds, with a low round of 23.
Jeez.
I found a few who ended up, I want to say, were around 21, which is just, I mean, that's absolutely nuts. Miranda Wong had a 19 putt round once this season, which is, I mean, I've done that on the first 4 holes sometimes. I mean, that's insane. But to average 20 or to average 29 putts in one round of golf, I mean, usually conventional wisdom is that you're putting probably half of your strokes, and to get it down to 28 is just mind-boggling. So good on you, Hyuju.
Yeah, I mean, first, I told you, man, Hyuju Kim is someone that I kind of have an unhealthy obsession with. I just think she's such a goofball. I think she's so fun. She obviously rolls the rock amazing. I think what's interesting about that stat can be really misleading in small batches, right? Of like an individual round. Because I could have 19 putts, but that could also just mean that like I missed every green and was chipping within 3-foot range and only 1 putting. So there can be some noise in those statistics. But over a sustained 61 rounds or whatever it was that you just said, there's no noise in that. That's just someone who is routinely getting the ball in the cup with the flat stick, like period. So that's awesome, man. That she, like I said, personality-wise, she's so fun to root for. I also love watching Miyu Yamashita putt. But for those of you that like ultimately seeing how people actually get the ball in the hole, which usually means putting, those are a couple names you're going to want to watch because they are fascinating to watch.
Right, and somebody like me who breaks out the Texas wedge probably a little more than I should. You know, that to your point, that doesn't count against my putting because I'm not on the green when I use my putting. I may, putt the ball 50 times, but I'm only putting on the green about, 75% of that.
And I'm going to introduce a new wrinkle to today's Fringy Awards that I want each of us to respectively not grade. At the end of this, I want to know which of my award names got you the best. And I just wanted, did I hear that it was Can I Get a Putt-Putt was the name of that one?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. That I just wanted to make it clearly on the record. Don't sell yourself short on the award names. Like, do the build up for the award name. I think
I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and I thought of that one. It was pretty
the time the award name is going to be better than the awardees. So don't sell yourself short on that, man. I love it. Okay, so I might empty the clip early on some of the more obvious stuff. I'm going to stay in the Grace Kim realm here for a second. I'm going to piggyback on something I just said. I'm going to do 2 here. The first, because we just talked about it, the swing my way shot of the year is the Grace Kim chip in on the first playoff hole against Gino in the Evian. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about the Evian the whole time, but it is worth this much discussion. It was that good. For those of you that didn't hear this, there's a cinematic recap of this finish. Go find it on YouTube, on the LPGA's channel. It's an amazing watch of what Gino, because Gino played so good on this whole tournament. That's the crazy thing, but did not win. Again, Grace blows her approach shot into the water, has to take a drop in deep rough across the far side of the green. Gino is going to have an eagle putt, so basically a 2-putt for a birdie. Grace is chipping for birdie and is basically hoping that Gino misses her birdie putt to extend it, and instead this thing just dead-eye tracks for the pin and sinks it, and the place goes ballistic. Shout out to KP and Envy. That is my swing my way shot of the year.
And I mean, that's a great point. That round by Gino, that's going to be lost to history because of what Grace Kim ended up doing.
And then
we talked about it a little bit. That's just another major in a tournament that Gino probably had, and it through no fault of her own, she just didn't end up getting it, just because Grace went ballistic on that one back nine.
And then speaking of Gino, it's no surprise Gino will get some hardware from me today. She deserves it. Again, I think I'm going to lead off today with some of our maybe more traditional awards of season bests and things like that. And then I'm going to get a little weird with it on the back nine of this. But for the next award, just straight up, the Bills award goes to Gino Titakun. For the second straight year, she wins the CME Tour Championship, $4 million first place prize, takes home over $7.5 million for the year on top of her $6.5 last year. Gino's banked $13 million in the last 2 years, which is buku dollars when you look at LPGA purses. That is cleaning up for a year that had a lot of parity. That is a sign to me that the LPGA and their partners are starting to really increase these purses, because Gino wasn't a 5 or 6 time winner and yet still walked home with $7.5 million this year. So Gino cleaned up, and her wallet's looking pretty good right now, and her bank account has some more zeros to it, I'm sure, after the last 2 years. So congrats to Gino on that, and shout out to my girls at Destiny's Child. Where are you going next, Tom?
And while Gino's on the podium, we might as well just keep her up here and give her one more award. This is the Chingy Award for the #1 Callaway golfer on tour. For the second year in a row, Gino has finished as Callaway's top golfer on tour. She uses the Elite TD driver and 3-wood, the Apex Utility, X Forge Star Irons, Opus Raw wedges, and a White Hot Versa putter.
What are we, Callaway sponsors? Just giving free reads right now? What is this?
I'm just telling you what she's using.
Just say Callaway next time. Hey, Callaway, hopefully checks in the mail. You're welcome on that one. We should give them an award. My Lord, just free airtime.
I use Callaway almost exclusively.
That's good. Hey, you know what? Another free read for you, Callaway. I want another check in the mail.
They're a local company. Got to support local.
They are. Yeah, okay, well, if we're doing, why don't I just finish the Gino train then? We're talking about all the great things with Gino. You've referenced at the outset, there was another Gino moment. Think about it. We've already talked about all the good things and a tournament where she lost to Grace Kim. That hasn't played into this as a positive yet. There's also the genuine so anxious moment when Gino 4-putted the final green at Kroger. Truly, I didn't realize I needed to be so anxious for her when she was on the green putting for eagle and ended up walking away with a bogey and letting Charlie Hull steal one. Charlie shouldn't have won this year. That was Charlie's only win, and she needed a 4-putt gift to win it. So as a Charlie Hull diehard, thank you very much, Gino. But if for no other reason, thank you for giving me reason to listen to So Anxious last night, because I will tell you, Tom, I listened to every single one of these songs as I ended up putting it into the award category. So appreciate you, Gino.
I'm going to make a Spotify playlist after this, and you can just search
the
2026 Fringies of all of our songs.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yes, absolutely. All right, where are we going next?
One of the main reasons that why you really hyped me up to be on this podcast is because you kept saying that I'm so interested in style and I love the fashion and all that. So this year's So Fresh and So Clean award is going to Yalimi No.
Hell yeah.
And I was looking through a bunch of different fits on tour. I found one. It was a Hugh Lindeberg that she wore during the KPMG. It's a one-piece skirt with no underarms, like just complete like holes in where the armpits are. Just like the guts to come out wearing something like that and still play well. I love it. Get on to Yalimi.
Yalimi is a self-proclaimed fashion nut. She had an all peach outfit. I can't remember if that was the beginning of this year or the end of 2024, but just like literally head to toe peach coloring, no contrast. Yulimi, whether she's there at award banquets, whether they're on the course, Yulimi prides herself on her fashion. Well, excellent pick. I think that's the perfect person for that award. And you got an audible laugh on your category name on that one. I'm going to go a different direction here. This is kind of an outgoing award, honorable mention this is the I'll Be Missing You award going out to Stacey Lewis. Stacey retired this year after an amazing career. And she got a lot of run around that Arkansas tournament. It's where she played her college golf, is from Arkansas. It kind of had that weird swan song ending. Remember, that was the one that got rained out. So she didn't really get her full moment in the spotlight. Well, not here, Tom.
Stand the rain.
Nice. Now, if you're just going to start dropping references, we're in trouble, but that was nice. Stacey, we're not going to get rained out. We're giving you your moment in the spotlight here, and I'll be missing you, Stacey. Congratulations on an amazing career. Tom, let me go another one here, and this is I'm going to have a lot of player awards here coming up of some of their finishes, but I'm going to go a similar direction of what you just did with Yulimi, but it's not necessarily style related. It's just kind of people. This is the Ja Rule Living It Up Award. This goes to the EY twins, man. I mentioned this last episode. You guys, if you're not following the EY twins, you're doing something wrong. They are having so much fun. Again, they're both rookies on the LPGA Tour. They tore up the JLPGA before they came over from Japan. And they have made it a point to kind of chronicle their United States journey as they're going to all these new cities, which are so vastly different from where they hail from in Japan. And they met the Dallas Cowboys and they're exchanging gifts on the field at Jerry Jones Stadium. They are filming TikTok dances left and right. I assume they're TikTok dances. I see them on Instagram. I'm not actually on TikTok, so put a pin in that. But they are so fun. They play their college golf at Oregon. They are just they're soaking in American culture and are really reveling in it. And these are the ones that have blue and pink respective driver heads. Everything about them is fun and spunky, and I'm here for it, man. So Ja Rule, I thought nothing better than living it up for those two. So EY twins, keep it coming.
Beautiful. All right, I'm going to slow it down a little bit, Mark. I don't even know if you're aware of this, but the Two Become One award is for going to Mimi Rhodes for turning a birdie into an ace. So at the AIG, Stephanie Kiriakou was, teeing up on the fifth hole, 184 yards out, and she landed it. It was about 3 inches from becoming a hole-in-one. Mimi Rhodes comes up right behind her, bounces it about 10 yards short, rolls up, banks off of Stephanie's ball, and goes in the hole. Very much like a cornhole situation where she knocked her opponent's ball out of the way and still made it in the hole. So probably my most favorite shot of the season.
Love it. That
do you know that song?
Oh yeah. Please.
Okay.
Please. I don't think it belongs. I don't think it belongs in the list that I'm creating today. But you know what? It can be an extra in your playlist that you're making on Spotify. All right. Let's go. I've got how many more you got, Tom?
About 5 more.
Okay, perfect. We're kind of lined up here. Next up, we're going to go with the If at First You Don't Succeed award. This is, again, you're going to hear Gino's name a lot, but all of these are different context. Gino blows that Kroger lead and 4 putts on the final green. Her very next start, which again was a few weeks later, was at the Buick LPGA Shanghai. And you called this out, Tom, as it happened the following week on the recap. Everyone wondered what Gino was going to do. Did everyone questioned, when you 4-putt the 72nd hole to straight up lose a tournament that you had a stranglehold on, there's going to be some mental ramifications of that. And since then is well documented that Gino cried afterwards, that she evaluated a lot, but Gino also has a really great ability to kind of brush it off and move on. Well, not only did she brush it off, she straight up won the next week and dusted herself off. tried again and won. And there is nothing more impressive to me than someone who can take a moment like that, marinate on it, have 3 weeks to have to figure it out, which could be good or bad. And she comes out and just straight up goes back and does Gino things. So impressive to me. So shout out. Awesome tournament for Gino out in Shanghai.
Absolutely. You know, Mark, not all the awards are good awards. I don't know if you've ever played Mario Party, but sometimes you get an award for doing something bad.
Sure.
So I got a tie for the nice and slow award for the most pace of play penalties. We have Yanlu and Chisato Iwai, who are both penalized 2 strokes this year since the policy's implementation in March. A 2-stroke penalty is given for a player who takes more than 16 seconds to hit a shot. Now, I'm going to ask you about this. That is you standing over the ball, right? That's when your clock starts?
There is a lot of fine print on this. I'm going to do my best to walk through it. So there's also warnings that precede this. So this is not your first violation, you get the 2 strokes. This means these people were already put on the clock and have been warned. So there's different types of pace of play. There's like just your general pace and how you're keeping up with groups, and you're saying, hey, you're falling a hole and a half behind, you need to speed up, and you're officially on the clock and you've been warned. And then there's shot specific stuff, which is what you're talking about. So 16 seconds, it's funny that number, I don't know if that number strikes you as a lot or a little, but we're talking about addressing the ball. That we're talking about backing off, things of that nature. So it does not take into account the time you need to go find your ball or things like that. It's like once you're standing over it. So it kind of bums me out about Chisato because she's as I just alluded to, she's one of my girls. But that's tough.
There is a 1-stroke penalty for, I think it's like 9 to 15 seconds, and then these 2 are the only 2 to actually get the 2-stroke penalty.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see the full print of how they're defining these penalties. But I will say, so far of all of your awards, that might be my favorite song choice to like perfectly fit the award. How Carlota Saganda is not the leader in that category, I have no idea, because she is slow AF, man. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if we're going to, I'm going to go. This is a tournament you may not remember, and we're going back to the Lotte. And this is the Opportunity Comes Once in a Lifetime award to Yumin Huang. This was the tournament where she was 22 years old, got in on a sponsor invite, and won the tournament. She's made her living, I believe. She's only had like 6 LPGA starts, all of which were sponsor invites. Has no status whatsoever. And her one chance she gets to come over on a sponsor invite, she's hoping to make some dollars, maybe make a cut, and maybe get into the next week. She ends up winning it and gets that opportunity as a winner to then decide whether she wants to join the LPGA or defer her status to the following year, which this happened the second half of the year. So she did defer it. So she will be taking up her LPGA status next year. But man, when there's so much pressure, I always think about if you're just trying to make it on, I don't care what it is, but in this case, the LPGA Tour, you only get spot starts. You get a sponsor who lets you in. Maybe you played good on a Monday qualifier. That's all you have. You have nothing guaranteed the next week. So you have to perform, which is a guaranteed like worst round of my life for me, if that's me, right? Because I'm putting so much pressure on myself saying this is my shot. If I can play well, there might be a future for me here. But if I blow it, I blow it. And who knows the next time I'm going to get to be on the big stage. And she maximized it to the nth degree. The only thing that would have been better is if she did it in a major, which I don't even think is possible. But she wins a tournament on the LPGA and gets all of those status I just talked about. Opportunity, mom spaghetti, all that stuff. She nailed everything, man. I'm really curious to see if we're going to if we're going to hear from her again. If that was kind of a flash in the pan, or someone who's going to take up residency and really do some work on the LPGA. But pretty impressive stuff for someone I quite literally had never heard of going into that week.
Nice. This one hits a little close to home for you and me. Soft spot in our heart. No funny names on this one. This is the inaugural Grant Boone Award for the best interview, and it's going to Grant Boone. We were 8 episodes into our podcast when you reached out to Grant, and he graciously offered to give us some of his time. And in 90s parlance, he was the Barry Sanders that we gave the rock to, and he just ran with it. He gave us so much information, so much insight. He was so generous with his time, and he's even been very, accommodating to us since the podcast, which is incredibly, appreciated on our end. So, you know what? I could see him winning this next year, but he's definitely the favorite.
Shout out forever to Grant Boone. We had a blast with that. Had no idea what we knew Grant was the lead NBC broadcaster for LPGA. Did not know just how gracious he was going to be with his time. We thought we were going to get 20 minutes. We were over an hour with him, and I think we're the ones that cut it short. He was just so generous with his time. And shout out Grant. Hopefully you're listening. We'll hit you up next year as well.
Apologies to Peter Campbell. I thought he was probably going to win this, but I guess not.
Oh man, Peter's bottom of the barrel for me. Give me Gabby Ruffles over Peter any day. Peter's got to earn his stripes. We'll bring Peter back. He's got some good tidbits for the folks. But hey, anytime I get Grant Boone or Gabby Ruffles, I'm gonna take those two every time. I got a few more than you, so I'm gonna double tap a couple here. Okay,
go for it.
First off, we haven't mentioned the number 2 player in the world yet, and it's probably time. And you said off air, you were curious if I had any Nelly Cordo awards that were Nelly songs. I do not, but I thought that maybe missed opportunity for me. This is the Mary J. Just Fine Award. And here's what this award is to tell all you haters out there. Nelly is just fine. Nelly is not having a crisis. Nelly is not falling off a cliff. Yes, she won 7 times in 2024. Yes, she did not win in 2025. She is just fine. She had a better statistical season than she had in 2024. More competition, more parity. She had some bad rounds of golf at critical times that lost her tournaments. But Nelly is still the number 2 player in the world. Had the second best scoring average on tour besides the person who set the all-time record on the LPGA for scoring in a season. Nelly's just fine, ladies and gentlemen. Taking that a step further, or not a step further, kind of another kind of player update. This is the J-Lo I'm Real Award. And this goes out to Lottie Wode. Lottie, I just don't think people realize how crazy this was. Lottie came on tour in, early July? She was playing as an amateur. She won the ISPS Handa by like 87 shots or something. It was just outrageous how much she was crushing fools out there. And then she had been on the LPGA Tour for, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks when the AIG Women's Open, the final major of the year, came on. And Lottie Wode was the betting favorite going into the week. That is bananas in itself. Lottie ended up playing really well in that tournament. She obviously played really well when she won her first tournament. Lottie's real. And I've said, I think Lottie might have some killer tendencies that some of the other women on this tour do not. I don't think Lottie's here to make friends. I think she has them, but I don't think that's why she's playing golf. And I think Lottie's going to go devastate. I think she's going to just crush people over the next, 2 decades, but certainly the next 3 to 4 years. Watch out. I got big thoughts on what I think Lottie's going to do, but Lottie proves she's real right out of the gates. Huge shout out to her. And then last one, and this is more of a, put this in a time capsule type thing, because I don't think we talk about this enough, because this was before you were really following the LPGA, Tom. You rewind the clock to the first major of the year, the Chevron. This is the Survivor Award. Again, another Destiny's Child shout out for those of you wondering what the heck these references are. Mao Saigo won the Chevron. What people don't realize is it was a 5-person playoff that should have never happened after Arya Jatanagarn flubbed a chip, quite literally swung, whiffed, and it stayed where it was when all she needed was an up and down for par. Ended up not making it. 5 people get into the playoff on a par 5 at the Chevron finishing hole. I can't even remember. It was Lindy Duncan. It was Mao Saigo, Ronan Yin, Arya, and one other. I can't remember who it was. 5 people in a playoff's rough to begin with. And they're all just sailing it at this green, which I believe has the grandstands are really close, so they kind of use it as a backboard. And it was just a train wreck. Ronan Yin had like a 10-foot eagle putt and ended up parring the hole because she blew her par putt 7 feet by. And somehow Mao just kind of pokes her way around and steals a major. Like, I'm really curious if we're ever going to remember if Mao Saigo won a major. Again, she's one of the, 7 Japanese players that won this year or something like that. There's just so much competition there. But it's a Survivor Award because it's just kind of like, outlasted everybody, and no one was playing outrageously good golf. Not exactly the way you want to see a tournament end, but Mal came out on top, and I'm really curious 2 years from now, if we say who won the Chevron, if anyone's going to remember how much carnage there was on that final hole. How many more you got, Tom?
I got two more. I got a good one and a bad one.
All right, go ahead.
My other unfortunate one, Mark, the My Neck, My Back, My Homework, and Backpack Award. This is for Rose Zhang. Unfortunately, Rose only started 14 of the 35 events this season. Add that to being a full-time student. Needless to say, there wasn't much time for her to better her golf game. I know that you had really high hopes for Rose going into this season.
Stop talking. Okay, I will let you finish, I promise. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited were you last night when you thought of that?
I'm so proud of that one.
Oh my God, dude, I'm crying. Oh, I really didn't know how you were going to finish that. And I got really nervous for like the rating of our podcast as you led into that. Oh my God, dude, that's so funny.
Well, I think both you and I do hope for a bounce back for Rose next season.
God, it's funny.
You know, as a young player, you know, going to Stanford, it's a really admirable thing that she's trying to do, right? You know, that's not something that I could even fathom doing. First off, going to Stanford seems very tough. Playing on the LPGA tour seems equally, probably tougher actually. And then put those together, that's an impossible ask, and she's trying to make a go of it. So good on her, and you know, she will be somebody that I'm rooting for moving forward.
Just period, hard stop, nothing to add. That was too good, man. Well done. I've got two left. I'm going to do them both because I have a feeling. Have you saved one for last on purpose? Yeah. Are you proud of what you have left?
Not more than that, but yeah.
Okay, let me do my two because I think you're going to bring us. If that was your penultimate one that you just unveiled, those were both better than the last two I had. So this one is the Flip It and Reverse It Fringy Award. This goes to Minjee Lee and Team Australia, specifically in the semifinal of the International Crown. This was such a fun event to watch from start to finish. I know you really enjoyed watching it. You got your family involved too. So many good things about this. But they were down like, what were they down? Like they were 3 down with 6 to play, like just dead to rights. And I think it was down to Brooke. And Minjee just went on a tear and I don't even think got it. Did she win it on the 17th or 18th hole? I think she won it on 18, but she took the lead on 17. She was the match was over. It was just a matter of how long she could extend it. But everyone thought it was over. And this was the match that ultimately was the flip match that got Team Australia to even get to the final, which in fact they ended up winning. None of that happens if Minjee Lee doesn't just go out of her mind bonkers and flipped it and reversed it on Team World. So huge. One of my favorite moments of the year was Minjee, which, by the way, I was looking at the Rolex rankings. Minjee is nipping at Nellie's heels right now for second and third place. So Nellie is still comfortably there, but Minjee has closed a huge gap. So shout out to Minjee, shout out to Missy Elliott. And then finally, Tom, there's no way you and I have an R&B discussion without TLC coming up at some point. And this is the Creep Award. And the Creep Award goes to you, Tom. And not because you're a creep. Let me clarify. Tom, you came onto this podcast really unknowing of what it is was being asked of you. You wanted to have fun, but didn't really know a whole lot about the LPGA. And I took advantage of you, Tom. We did picks every week for the second half of a season, and I racked up points early on when you're making picks like Somi Lee and a bunch of other randoms that I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? I'm glad that he knows these names. And I got to give you started creeping that back half of the season and started making a comeback. You ended up winning 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last 6. It wasn't enough ultimately to like take out the lead. I kind of abused early on while you were still learning the ropes. But as you started following this tour, your knowledge base grew quickly and your picks showed it. So you win the inaugural and maybe one time ever Fringy Award, Fringy Creep Award. So congratulations and well done.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't have a speech prepared, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm playing the music to play him off. All right, bring us home, big boy.
Mark, no Fringy Award would be complete without this last recipient. So I am going to read what the award is, and I want you to guess the recipient, all right? The Juvenile Back That Sass Up Award goes to one of the most outspoken members on tour, willing to criticize slow play, tournament formats at a hectic travel schedule, all while finishing in the top 5 of the Rolex rankings. It's fun to talk a big game, but being able to back it up with amazing play is no easy feat. This award goes to
my girl, Charlie Hull.
There we go.
Heck yeah. She did back that sass up. You're right.
I'd say so. Yeah, she deserves one.
Yeah, she checks so many boxes for what you're looking for in an athlete and a face of your tour. You got to be a good golfer. Let's start there, right? Like she has that. She's elevated her game. She's now, what did you say, 5th in the Rolex rankings?
Yep.
I can remember when she got into the top 10, right? Like she had a quick ascendance here. But what makes her interesting is not her golf, right? That's a prerequisite to have our attention, but to make us interested is, as they say, ripping darts on the course and criticizing slow play and being just totally herself at all times. She's just wildly entertaining. I was going to do like a quote of the year award, and I totally forgot about this till right now. When she did that whole not rant, but she started talking about the first time she ever ate a PB&J. Like she's just such a fascinating character. And again, for those of you not following her on social media, she's also super into fashion, always posting photos of going out with their girlfriends. Like she has a very active home life as well. She's just so fun. And I don't think we've had an episode where I haven't gushed about Charlie. So it's probably getting a little bit outrageous at this point, but no better way to wrap up these awards than to give an even more shine to Miss Hull. Well done, Tom.
Mark, I don't know where we go from here. I mean, this was my favorite episode of the podcast run, and
for sure. And look, I know for those of you that listen all the way through sometimes or turn this off, I'm gonna say this before it's the very end. We do really like your feedback, and whether it's what award categories you want us to do, whether you enjoy hearing us talk about some other pop culture stuff. We never want to lose sight of the LPGA. It is why we're doing this. It is to bring more attention to it. But we also understand you can't just talk about the LPGA to LPGA people and expect to grow the number of people paying attention to it. So feathering in pop culture references and doing funny 90s hip hop R&B references is fun. And maybe it puts a different spin on this, or whether it's talking about other sports in reference to this. We want this to be helpful and we want this to be educational, but we also want it to be fun. So if you guys don't listen to the end of the episode, Tom always says, if you have ideas and topics, email us at fringecoverage@gmail.com. Sometimes we just kind of gloss over it as the ending read that we do. We mean it. We get some amazing feedback. Some of the topics of this show have come from that. Shout out to Heidi and Brandon and a couple of the others out there and Bobby that have given us shout outs over the past 6 months. We want your feedback. It's going to help shape what we do. We have no intention of going anywhere. We are running this back in 2026. Can't wait to see what the Fringies are like next year. Maybe it'll be a live video thing, and maybe we'll have players there to receive it. Who knows, Tom? As my friend Notorious B.I.G. would say, the sky's the limit.
You really should watch that Diddy documentary. All right.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for teeing this up. This was so fun. I think this is kind of your wheelhouse, man. I think we need to do more stuff like this and let you take the reins more often. So with that, it's only appropriate for you to bring us home.
Oh, thank you, bud. As you said, you can email us at fringecoverage@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at fringecoveragepod. And whether you're approaching from the fairway or the rough, we got you covered inside the Fringe.
Happy New Year, everybody.